What to do after a setback. Hi, I'm Trish Jenkins, and this is Trish TV. We're talking about what to do after a setback. I know a bit about setbacks. I've had a lot of kinds of setbacks, losing everything, going to prison, all sorts of setbacks. But in your business, in life, you might not have it as dramatic as me, but you're going to have them. They happen to everybody. You're on the way you're going, where you go, might be a relationship, might be business, and then poof, a setback. But here's the thing. You don't always know what a setback means straight away. You just get the news. So the first thing you've got to do is pause. You've got to pause. You don't have to follow the tone of what's being fed to you. If someone in front of you is getting hysterical or is upset and has got that bad news, it's natural to feed off that energy and react and go with it. You don't have to. You can be in that bubble and go, hold on, I've got to pause first. Because you don't have all the facts immediately. It's just bang, some news, right? Pause. And beware the first words that come out of your mouth, because that will set a tone and it will trigger things in your head that you will then follow. So it's okay to be quiet. Pause. Recognize that you need to process it. Now, the best way to process an upset is physically. If you can go for a run and let that get worked out. You see, when something is a setback, it sets off stress, your cortisol levels rise, and that emotion kicks in. Best way to deal with that is not by reacting on the spot, but by find somewhere, preferably outside, go for a run. If you can't run, do something that your body is capable of doing physically as soon as you are able. You want to work out that cortisol has to be drained out so that you can then calm down and think more rationally, because when emotions are high, good sense drops. You've got to recognize that. So you don't want to jump in the boat of hysteria with the other people in the room, especially particularly if it's overpowering. Just hold on until you can get out. Pause, process, do something physical. Now, when you're analyzing these things, I didn't do it well the first time. When I found out that all our money had been stolen and everybody else's, and it was just a nightmare, I vomited for 3 days straight, and I couldn't even look at my children. I didn't have the skills of what I know to do now when there's a setback. You got to look after yourself, your physical, get that done. Then you can pull back and analyze. You can write down. This is what you've got to do. You can journal. You can rant in your journal how unfair life is and how awful it is. When you've done that, look at the pros and cons. What does life mean now? What does it mean for me? Well, you don't know yet. But what are some pros of the situation? What are some good? You've lost your job. Okay, my time's freed up. Now I can start looking at other things. What can you do? We lost everything, and I had to then think about, well, what can I do? How did I miss it? So I began writing down and researching about fraud warning signals, and then I ended up creating a book that I now offer, and it helps other people. So what can you do when you face a setback? And then one of the things you've got to do is own your part, because often it's very easy to become the victim. We want to be, poor me, I've been hard done by, I'm the victim. This is hard to tell you, but it's got to be done. When you're doing that analyzing and the pros and cons, you've got to decide, you've got to work out honestly with yourself, what part did you play in this? What did you contribute to that valued staff member leaving? What part did you contribute to? Did you invest more than you should have? Because you shouldn't invest more than you can afford to lose. Did your temper get in the way? Don't beat yourself up too much. Just recognize it and own it, because if you don't, you will make the same mistake again, because you'll create a pattern. So then you take what's left and decide where's the good, what can I offer? So quick recap, pause, watch your mouth, do something physical. Now, if you can't do something physical, is there music? Is there something that will soothe you? Healthy thing, not booze and alcohol. Don't do that. And what can you do? Boxing is fine. That's okay. Something you can do to drain out that cortisol. And then analyze it, assess it, pros and cons. And you get to decide what it means for your life. Not the monkeys in your head screaming at you, getting you hysterical. You get to decide, but you've got to get that emotion down and get the logic out, pros and cons, and look for the opportunities in that situation that's come up. And you might find that instead of being a setback, it's actually a sidestep for something different and better. I hope this has been an encouragement to you. And if you would like to know more, if you would like to have me come and speak to your group on resilience, courage, or leadership, let me know. You've got my websites on there. All right, bless you heaps, and I'll see you next time.